Well, some are calling this an embarrassing situation for the White House after news this week that General Electric, the global conglomerate whose CEO is the president's point man on jobs, Jeffrey Immelt, didn't pay taxes on more than $5 billion made on its U.S. operations. But GE, hardly alone among American companies that escape a big tax bill. Patricia Powell is the founder and CEO of Powell Financial Group. How does GE get away with making all that money and not paying anything in taxes?
And they do it legally. They know every loophole that there is. In fact, GE's tax department is the model and it is the envy of corporate America. They are known to have absolutely the best tax lawyers in the country, barring none.
And they've got a lot of lobbyists in
Oh, do they have a lot of
what do those lobbyists do for them?
Oh, they want to make sure that the businesses that they're in, like the wind turbines, that they're going to be eligible for tax credits. They want them to, when they're importing these new light bulbs, they want to make sure that they're, not overtaxed as they're doing things. So, there's a lot of connections, and there's and then GE does claim that it's relating to their financial unit that they get a lot of these offsets, but in all honesty, it's hard to pay zero. They paid less tax than the guy working at McDonald's part-time.
Well, that's the thing. The guy working at McDonald's part-time, the woman who's teaching 5th grade,
right.
Those of us who are out there working for a living and trying to,
right.
get by and put food on our family's dinner table, and we're paying our taxes, and we hear about these companies like GE and Google. Right. You mentioned GE's not the only one. There are lots of other ones.
Absolutely.
They're paying nothing.
Right.
It's infuriating.
It's infuriating, but you know what you have to say? Congratulations to GE and Jeff Immelt. No one in this country is obligated to pay one more penny in tax than legally required. It's not a voluntary system. The problem is not GE. The problem's in Washington. And the president has very good rhetoric about this. He says it's not fair. We got to get rid of all this stuff. And yet, when his buddy, when he wants a good buddy, he doesn't necessarily pay a lot of attention to this stuff.
Jeffrey Immelt, there he is. We mentioned at the top that he is the president's job czar, or chief liaison, whatever his title is.
Okay.
What do you make of that? Because I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who are like, wait a minute, this guy's getting favored treatment because look who his buddy is.
This is the real outrage. This is the one everyone in America should be crazed about. This company, between 2007 and 2009, laid off 21,000 people. Last year, Jeff Immelt made $21 million in total compensation. At the same time that we're saying we need somebody to create jobs, we're putting the guy at the head of that committee who has never created a job. You know what he's done? He's either reduced jobs or shipped them overseas. We have the wrong man in the wrong job for the wrong reasons.
What kind of conversations do you think that President Obama and Jeff Immelt have on jobs?
I think they talk a lot about wind turbines and how great it would be if this country
alternative energy,
how great it would be, and how we just need more and more and more. We need to get it up on the grid, and they talk a lot about sort of this vagueness. And I don't think that Jeff Immelt spends a lot of time saying it's a shame that we closed that last plant in Virginia last year that made the incandescent light bulbs, and that while we're not going out of the light bulb business, those light bulbs that we're going to be producing will not be produced in the United States. They'll be produced primarily in China. I don't think they talk about that. Yeah. I think they talk this big picture, this fuzzy stuff, but this is the real outrage.
Here we are. Times are tough. We've got a federal budget deficit that's $14 trillion or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And here are all of these companies that are making major profits right here in the USA that are using, and I take your word for it, that they're doing this legally.
Yes.
But they're using these loopholes in order to do it. Is anybody in Washington talking seriously about perhaps closing some of these loopholes, changing the tax laws so that these companies, when they make a profit and they make money, they're giving back and they're putting money back into the system?
I would say if you were looking for any specific group, probably the Tea Partiers would come closest to that. But you don't really hear a lot about closing all these loopholes other than this vague, we've got to close loopholes.
That's because of all the money they spend on lobbying these companies?
It's lobbying, contributions to political campaigns. It's almost impossible for people to run for Congress or the Senate or, heaven knows, for the presidency without huge political political dollars. So if we want something different, we have to do something different. We have to tell our president this is not acceptable. Congress, we have to tell them. We have to tell our senators this is not acceptable. Change it.
Patricia Powell says don't blame GE. They're following the law. Blame the government. Blame the law.
Absolutely.
Founder, CEO of the Powell Financial Group. Always good to talk to you, Patricia.